Chapter 1. The Spark in the Snow. St. Alden, Manitoba, January 12, 1993. 2:14. The diner's neon sign flickered, casting a sickly red glow across the snow-packed street. I was halfway through my second cup of black coffee when the first bullet tore through the window, missing my ear by an inch. Glass sprayed like frozen rain, and the waitress, a girl barely out of high school, screamed and dropped to the floor. I hit the deck, my hand already on the Colt 1911 tucked under my coat. 20 years running jobs for the Order of the Ashen Covenant taught me never to trust an empty diner at 2 a.m. Another shot punched through the counter, splintering wood and leaving a faint silver glow in the hole. I'd seen that glow before, 3 nights ago in Winnipeg, when my world turned upside down. My name is Daniel Côté .02:36. For 2 decades, I'd been a fixer for the Order, a secret society buried deep in Canada's Catholic underbelly. They call me a keeper of the veil. Everyone else would call me a cleaner. The Order had enemies, historians sniffing too close to buried truths, priests asking questions about missing relics, politicians threatening to expose the wrong secrets. I made those problems disappear. 42 jobs across 4 provinces, every one clean. Heart attacks, car accidents, the occasional hunting mishap. I was good, the best, until 3 nights ago, when I learned what the Order was really hiding. Another silver-glowing bullet ripped through the coffee machine, sending steam and sparks flying. 03:01. The waitress, Sophie, huddled behind a crate of sugar packets, her eyes wide with terror. "They found me," I muttered, checking my clip. 12 rounds of consecrated iron, the only thing that could slow what was coming. I'd been running since Winnipeg, 3 days of buses, back roads, and stolen trucks, trying to shake the Order's hunters. St. Alden, a nowhere town in Manitoba's frozen heart, seemed like a safe bet. I was wrong. The diner's door didn't open. It dissolved into ash, and something stepped through. I'd ended 42 lives, but nothing prepared me for this. 03:25. It looked human, maybe 6'2", dressed in a tailored black coat that screamed money. But its face was wrong, skin like polished ice, too smooth, too perfect. Its eyes were twin pools of silver light. No pupils, no depth, just a searing glow that burned into my skull. When it moved, it didn't walk. It drifted, like a shadow sliding over snow. "Daniel Côté," it said, its voice a low hum, like a hymn sung through static. "You have been marked." I fired 4 rounds into its chest. The iron bullets hit home, tearing through the coat, silver light leaking from the wounds like liquid mercury. It didn't flinch. 3:48. "Run," I growled at Sophie, dragging her toward the kitchen. The thing raised a hand, and the back door turned to dust. No flame, no sound. "There is no refuge from the Covenant's will," it said, gliding forward. I shoved Sophie toward a side exit, a rusted fire door. She fumbled with the latch, sobbing. The thing's silver eyes locked on her. "An innocent," it said. "You shield yourself with the weak." "She's got nothing to do with this," I snapped, stepping between them. The thing tilted its head, like a wolf sizing up prey. "She serves the poison of indulgence. Her soul is already tainted." 04:10. That's when I knew these weren't the holy guardians the Order claimed they were. I'd read the texts, studied the lore during my years with the Covenant. True guardians protected the innocent, not condemned a kid for pouring coffee. "What are you?" I asked, raising my gun. Its lips curled, revealing teeth like shards of moonlight. "We are the Ashen Sentinels, forged by the Covenant to enforce divine order." I fired again, aiming for the head. Silver light poured from the wound, but it kept coming. Chapter 2. The Revelation. 4:35. 3 nights ago, in a Winnipeg warehouse, I'd broken into the Order's sealed vault. I wasn't supposed to be there. My job was to eliminate a professor who'd gotten too curious about the Covenant's funding. But the vault held more than financial records, blueprints, rituals, files labeled Project Ashen. The order wasn't just guarding relics. They were building something. Sentinels, they called them. Beings woven from human flesh and what they claimed was divine ash, harvested from sacred sites. The Covenant wasn't protecting faith. They were manufacturing it. 05:00. You're not holy, I said, backing toward the fire door. You're a science experiment. The Sentinel's smile widened. Does it matter? We serve the Covenant's truth. We purge its enemies. I'd served the Order blindly for 20 years, never questioning a target. Until now. Sophie got the door open, and cold Manitoba air hit us like a slap. Run, I told her. Don't look back. She hesitated, then bolted into the snow. The Sentinel's eyes followed her. She will not escape. Others hunt her now. 05:22. Anger burned through me, hotter than the fear. She's a kid, I said. She's nothing to you. She aided a traitor, it replied. That is enough. I'd spent 2 decades cleaning up the Order's messes, believing I was saving souls. Now I saw the truth. I'd been silencing voices, burying secrets. How many of my targets were innocent? I asked. Innocence is irrelevant, it said. Only the Covenant's will matters. I had 5 bullets left. Not enough to kill it, but enough to try something stupid. 05:46. The diner's sprinkler system caught my eye. St. Albans water supply, like most small Canadian towns, was blessed annually by the local parish. A holdover from old Catholic traditions. I aimed at the pipes overhead and fired. Water gushed down, soaking the Sentinel. It screamed, a sound like shattering ice, as its perfect skin blistered. Silver light bled from the cracks, dim and flickering. Blessed water, I said, sprinting for the door. Your makers forgot to mention that weakness. The Sentinel clawed at its face, its voice a grinding rasp. This changes nothing. There are more of us. Chapter 3. The Escape 610. I stumbled into the alley, the Sentinel's screams fading behind me. Snow crunched under my boots as I ran for the street. The Order had found me in St. Alban, which meant nowhere was safe. I needed to move, to find someone who could help me expose Project Ashen. My mind went to Claire Tremblay, a CBC journalist I'd been ordered to kill 6 months ago. I'd let her live, faking her death in a car crash. She owed me, and she'd been digging into the Order's finances for years. 06:35. My burner phone had one number saved. I dialed as I jogged toward the bus depot. Claire picked up on the third ring. Daniel Côté, she said, her voice sharp. Why are you calling me? I've got a story for you, I said. The Order's building artificial angels, and they're hunting me. A pause. Where are you? St. Alban. Meet me in Brandon, the old grain elevator on 10th Street. 3 hours. Why should I trust you? Because they tried to kill you, too. 07:00. The line went dead. I pocketed the phone and kept moving. The depot was a block away, lit by a single street lamp. As I approached, I saw it, a figure in a black coat, standing motionless at the edge of the light. Another Sentinel. I ducked behind a dumpster, my heart pounding. The Order wasn't just hunting me, they were closing the net. I checked my watch. 2 hours and 40 minutes to Brandon. I had to make it. 07:25. The bus pulled up, its engine coughing in the cold. I slipped aboard, keeping my head low. In the window's reflection, I saw the Sentinel watching, its silver eyes like twin moons. It didn't move, didn't follow. That scared me more than a chase. They were playing a longer game. Chapter 4. The meeting 9:15. Brandon's grain elevator loomed over the city like a forgotten giant, its rusted sides glowing faintly under the morning sun. Claire Tremblay was already there, leaning against a pickup truck, her breath visible in the freezing air. She was in her late 30s, sharp-featured, with a scar across her knuckles from a fight she wouldn't talk about. You look like hell, Daniel, she said as I approached. Prove you're not here to finish the job. 09:40. 3 nights ago, I broke into the Order's Winnipeg vault, I said. I found files on Project Ashen, artificial beings they call sentinels. They're using divine ash and human tissue to create enforcers. The project head is Dr. Elise Marchand, supposedly dead in a lab fire last year. Except I faked her death on the orders. Claire's eyes narrowed. You're saying the Catholic Church is building angels? Not the church, I said. The Order of the Ashen Covenant. A secret sect inside it. And they're not angels, they're weapons. 10:05. Claire pulled out a tape recorder. Tell me everything. We walked through the elevator's shadow as I recounted the diner attack, the Sentinel's silver eyes, the blessed water trick. She listened, jotting notes. They came for me, too, she said finally. Last week, in Winnipeg, a man in a black coat cornered me outside my apartment. Perfect face, white eyes. I hit him with a tire iron and ran. He didn't bleed red. What did you find on the order? I asked. Shell companies, she said. Money flowing to biotech labs in Quebec. I couldn't connect it to anything concrete. Until now. 10:30. We were interrupted by a low hum, like a hymn carried on the wind. Across the street, a sentinel stepped from an alley, its black coat stark against the snow. We've got company, I said. Claire grabbed my arm. That's the one from Winnipeg. Run. We sprinted for her truck, the sentinel gliding after us, its silver eyes locked on our backs. Chapter 5. The Chase. 10:55. Claire's truck roared down Highway 10, snow spraying behind us. The sentinel didn't chase on foot. It didn't need to. A black sedan appeared in the rear view, gaining fast. That's not human, Claire said, her knuckles white on the wheel. No kidding, I replied, loading my last clip. 6 rounds. We can't outrun it, she said. Then we don't, I said. Head for the river. 11:20. The Assiniboine River cut through Brandon, its banks frozen solid. I remembered the local church's annual blessing of the water, a tradition dating back decades. If blessed water worked in St. Aldan, it might work here. Claire swerved onto a side road, the sedan closing in. The river's edge was 100 yards ahead. Get ready to jump, I said. Are you insane? She asked. Probably. 11:45. We bailed out as the truck skidded onto the ice. The sedan stopped, and 2 sentinels stepped out, their silver eyes glowing through the snow. I fired at the ice beneath their feet, cracking it. Water surged up, cold and blessed. The sentinels screamed, their perfect skin dissolving as the river touched them. Claire stared, horrified. What are they? She asked. The order's mistake, I said. And we're going to end it. Chapter 6. The Safe House. 13:10. We ditched the truck and stole a beat-up sedan from a gas station. Claire drove while I navigated, heading north toward a safe house in Riding Mountain National Park. The order had stashed Dr. Elise Marchand there, believing her dead to the world. She was the key to Project Ashen, the scientist who'd fused divine ash with human DNA. If anyone could stop the Sentinels, it was her. 14:35. The safe house was a log cabin, hidden among pines, surrounded by motion sensors and cameras. I disabled the alarms with codes I'd memorized last year. Elise Marchand was inside, hunched over a microscope, her gray hair pulled back. She looked up as we entered, her face pale. Daniel? She said. You're supposed to be in Quebec. The order lied to you, I said. This is Claire Tremblay, CBC. We're here to stop Project Ashen. 15:00. I laid it out. The Sentinels, the killings, the order's plan to control faith through fear. Elise listened, her hands shaking. They told me I was creating protectors, she said. Beings to guide humanity, not killers. Claire set up her recorder. How many are there? She asked. At least 100, Elise said. Maybe more. I built a fail-safe, a genetic shutdown code. But it needs a high-powered transmitter to activate. 15:25. Claire's contact, a retired RCAF officer named Paul Leclerc, could get us into CFB Shiloh, a military base 2 hours away. We packed Elise's equipment and hit the road, the Manitoba wilderness stretching around us. I kept checking the mirrors, expecting silver eyes in the shadows. They're coming, I said. They always are. Chapter 7. The Ambush, 1750. CFB Shiloh's gates loomed under a gray sky. Paul Leclerc met us at the entrance, a grizzled man in his 50s with a limp from an old crash. "This better be worth it," he said. Claire briefed him as we drove to the base's radio tower. Elise worked on her laptop, inputting the shutdown code. "It'll take an hour to calibrate," she said. "We don't have an hour," I replied. The air hummed, and 3 sentinels appeared at the gate, their black coats untouched by the wind. 18:15. The base's alarms blared. Soldiers opened fire, but standard rounds barely slowed the sentinels. Silver light bled from their wounds, but they kept coming. "Get to the tower," I told Claire and Elise. "I'll hold them off." I fired my last rounds, aiming for their eyes. One staggered, but the others glided forward. Paul handed me a grenade. "Try this," he said. I pulled the pin and tossed it. The explosion rocked the gate, scattering the sentinels, but they reformed, their skin knitting back together. 18:40. We reached the tower, Elise plugging her laptop into the transmitter. The sentinels were closing in, their silver eyes visible through the snow. Paul barricaded the door, his face grim. "They're not human," he said. "No," I said. "They're the Order's gods." Elise typed frantically. 30 minutes, she said. "I need 30 minutes. Outside, the sentinels began to sing, a hymn that shook the walls. Chapter 8. The Shutdown, 1905. The tower vibrated as the sentinels' song grew louder, cracking glass. Elise's hands flew over the keyboard. "It's almost ready," she said. Paul and I held the door, our weapons useless against the sentinels' advance. Claire recorded everything, her voice steady despite the chaos. "This is going out live," she said. "The world needs to know." 19:30. The first sentinel breached the door, its silver eyes locking on Elise. I tackled it, driving us both to the floor. Its skin burned like ice, and its strength was inhuman. "You cannot stop the Covenant's will," it said. "Watch me." I growled, slamming my knife into its chest. Silver light poured out, but it threw me across the room. Elise hit enter. A low pulse echoed through the tower, resonating in my bones. 19:55. The sentinel froze, its eyes dimming. Across the base, the others collapsed, their perfect forms dissolving into ash. "It's working," Elise said, tears in her eyes. "The signal's global. Every sentinel is shutting down." Paul slumped against the wall, blood on his shirt. "We did it," he said. "Not yet," I replied. "The Order's still out there." Chapter 9. The Fallout 3 months later. April 15th, 1993. Claire's story broke on CBC, then spread globally. The Order of the Ashen Covenant was exposed, its leaders arrested or vanished. The Vatican distanced itself, claiming the Order was a rogue sect. Elise turned herself in, testifying in exchange for leniency. She's in a low-security facility now, teaching biology to inmates. Claire won awards for her reporting and started a book on the Covenant's secrets. I'm officially dead, killed in a supposed gas explosion in Winnipeg. The Order wanted me erased, and I let them think they succeeded. I live in a small Alberta town now, running a hardware store, keeping my head down. The Covenant's gone, but their secrets linger. Chapter 10. The Reckoning. Sometimes, at night, I think about the 42 people I killed for the Order. Were they all guilty? Did they deserve it? I'll never know. But I stopped the Sentinels, stopped the Covenant's plan to control faith through fear. That's enough for now. Outside my window, the Alberta sky stretches wide and clear. Somewhere, the Order's survivors are regrouping. I keep my Colt loaded, just in case.